Everything's being rocked in our world right now.
Yes.
Every foundation is being rocked, but the one thing that remains solid, that never changes, that's there, is your soul. Your body is one big psychic antenna. This is all you need. Have you ever had a song pop into your head out of the blue? You're like, God, I woke up with this stupid song in my head. It won't go away. Someone is knocking on the door.
Do you ever get a feeling about something before it happens? An inner knowing, and it actually turns out to be right? Or a sudden sense that someone who's passed is close by and you're not sure if you're imagining it or if it's real? You're not imagining it. And today we're going to help you develop your own psychic abilities. We're answering questions like, how do you tell the difference between a real psychic hit and your own mind making things up? Or are more people waking up to their psychic abilities right now? And what are you actually supposed to do with that intuition when it comes through? Welcome back to Dear Guides. My guest today is John Holland, one of the most respected psychic mediums in the world, and he's going to answer all of it. Plus, John is going to lead us through a meditation to help you experience your own psychic abilities. So stick around to the end. You will not want to miss it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I love you. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It's so good to be with you. This show, as you know, you've been watching our episodes.
Love it, yes.
You love it. The show is all about welcoming my expert friends who have been spiritual teachers for decades.
Right.
But also inviting in the guides.
That's right.
And in your case, you're different than some of the people that I've had on the show already, because a lot of folks have been folks that channel high-level guides, or they channel angels. You specifically just channel the deceased.
That's right. Well, it's not like I can call, I always joke and say it's not 1-800-dial-your-mummy, right?
Right.
But I do believe in guides. I know they're there. When I first started to develop, I would feel like a warmth. When I was studying in England, I'd feel a warmth on my shoulders, and that was my sign that my guides were there. I know they're there. I know I have a teaching guide, because when I speak, sometimes those words that come out that you never really speak like, or you never studied. So I know that they're there, but I do believe in them. I'm basically a medium, for people who have lost loved
And that's
ones.
how you've dedicated your entire
That's
career.
right.
Yeah. So before we begin the show, I always like to welcome in whoever wants to show up. When I channel, and as you guys know this, I channel guides of the highest truth and compassion, specifically for higher purpose.
Yeah.
For me, I visualize them like these energies of light. I don't actually see specific faces, although I do have my own specific guide, Lily, who we've talked about.
Yes.
But I don't see specific faces. I see these guides almost like they're all these entities of light.
Right.
And they are this higher consciousness, and it's also based on source consciousness. And it comes through for me to give you messages for a higher purpose. So I always like to welcome in the guidance of the highest truth and compassion to enter into this sacred space today, our barn here, our sacred barn, and welcoming in this energy to support John and I in giving you the greatest messages that you can receive today. I feel so much energy. You guys know my hands go numb when I start to channel. And I start to receive these messages as an energy first, and then as just a conscious collaboration in my mind.
Sure.
And you are working in a way where you're hearing deceased loved ones to come through to give messages to people, particularly for health, guidance, wisdom, grief. Big one for mediums. Big one. Yeah. Okay, great. So everyone's aware now. This is how John works. He's channeling the deceased. We're going to see what else comes through. I love this phrase that I've heard you say over and over, which is this coming to me or from me?
Right.
Tell me about this.
Is this coming to me? When you say, am I making this, is this coming to me or from me? You kind of can feel it. And a true intuitive hit, if you don't mind me go there, right? It just lands. It's just something about an inner knowing. It's like, here, if you're making it up or your imagination, it flitters. It goes everywhere, right? Say your brother comes to mind.
Yeah.
And you say, well, I should call him.
Yeah.
And then you say, you know what? I just talked to him last week. I'll call him tomorrow.
Yep.
Then it comes again. Call your brother. Just a knowing, just a feeling, just a thought, or you're hearing it. I'll call him tomorrow. Call your brother. Intuition will keep coming back. Imagination just goes away. Intuition will keep knocking on the door till it gets louder and louder.
Intuition will keep coming back. Imagination just goes away.
Goes away.
Beautifully said.
Trust that.
Beautifully said. So when you're hearing those hits to contact a friend,
anybody,
or reach out to a loved one, or send that email, or don't send that email, then listen.
Right, because what you'll hear when you get that, when you call your brother, he'll be like, oh my God.
I was just thinking about you, or I need you.
I was just thinking about you. I can't believe it.
Why do you think right now people are waking up to their psychic abilities more?
Well, first of all, everybody has them. Some people like, I don't have that gift. If you have a soul, which you do, it comes with the package, right? I don't think God, the divine, would send us here without a little help, and your psychic abilities there. I think because there's a lot of stuff going around in the world right now, and think about the pressure that's on us, right? It's like we're being squeezed mentally, physically, emotionally here. And I looked at this analogy the other day. There's no other way to go but up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like you're being forced, like say, like a grape, until it explodes or something. I don't want to use that analogy, but I feel like a lot of people having spiritual awakenings now. They're not believing what they grew up with or things that they were taught, or they're questioning things. I think that the energy around the world right now is forcing us to do this. The outside world is pushing in here, and we're not getting the answers on the outside world anymore.
That's right.
You see what I mean?
What a good answer. We're not getting the answers on the outside world right now, so people are looking for spiritual awakening.
They have to be
being
squeezed in, so they automatically have to go up.
When you don't have direction, or you don't feel safety either anymore.
Yep.
We don't feel like we have the confidence or safety in our surroundings, that we're looking for that safety inside and looking for it up there.
And think about it. Everything's being rocked in our world right now.
Yes.
The financial, political, government, school, education, every foundation is being rocked. But the one thing that remains solid, that never changes, that's there, is your soul.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's there. That's the place to go.
And so with that connection, what would you say would be the hope when people develop their spiritual relationship during shaky times?
It's okay to be rational, look on the out. I say, you always have logic because you need it, but also trust that intuitive side that comes to you, that feeling like, you know what? I think I keep getting the hit to do this, but, I don't know, someone will laugh at me, or I don't know, that's something I've never done, or I don't know, because we talk ourselves out of it. So I think that if people just learned, you hear it all the time, Gabby, you got to get quiet.
Yeah.
You got to get quiet, and someone's like, I don't have time to meditate. If you're scrolling, you got 5 minutes.
You've got more than enough time.
Exactly. And all it takes is 5 minutes. I mean, you've had, meditation challenge. You have a practice also, right?
Yes.
20 minutes in the morning.
I do longer. I meditate for an hour in the middle of the day. That's sort of when my body needs it. And you actually say that the body is an antenna.
Your body is one big giant psychic antenna. I don't need to have a quartz crystal pushed into my third eye, right? Or light an incense, okay? Although I love those things. Your body is one big psychic antenna. This is all you need.
Right.
This physical body is primed for sensitivity, for psychic ability. It's all here.
That's how I feel when I am tuned in.
Yeah.
My whole body just starts to almost feel like released. Mm-hmm. My body feels released.
Yeah.
And then it starts to feel just like I'm an energy field.
Yep.
And it starts with my hands, and then if I'm resting and I'm lying, it can really extend that energy far beyond what's happening internally.
Yeah.
In fact, I would recommend to you guys, as you start to want to practice your own psychic connection, one way to really start to feel into your body and actually release the body in a sense,
right.
Get back into the energy, so that's that frequency that John calls an antenna, would be to actually lie down. I think when we lie down, it's sort of a humble message, palms up, lie down.
That's right.
It's a humble message saying, I'm surrendered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm relaxed. I'm not trying to sit up straight and be the perfect meditator.
Right.
I'm actually letting myself off the hook. I'm giving my body a break, and I'm opening up to my energetic capacity.
Right.
That to me is the directive I get. And I meditate with Jimmy Blue, my cat, who you met last night.
Yes.
And I say, Jimmy, let's meditate. And we just sit right down and we start.
That.
Yeah, the cats love to meditate.
Yeah.
Why are animals a great antenna for helping our psychic abilities?
Because they calm you down, right? And I'm a dog person. I mean, I lost Coda almost 3 years in June. But if you have a dog that's constantly looking at the wall and like staring at something, and people like this, look at stupid dog, it's looking at a wall. It's seeing something.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, because no one told him it can't. And same thing with cats. You ever see cats do this?
All the time.
Because they're seeing something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody told them they can't. And kids,
That's right.
very, very intuitive. Now, when Ollie was born, jumping, coloring, laughing, they're coloring people green, blue, orange. How do you know they're not seeing them how they really are?
That's right.
With that color, right? Until school comes in and pushes that whole right side, that beautiful creative side, away from us. We have to start listening to teachers and math and spelling. Some kids retain it, like I did for my whole life, but we're taught to not trust that anymore, to stick with logic.
So how can we as adults who've been programmed to believe in the fears of the world begin to unlearn that and start to reconnect to our own psychic abilities?
Right. So remember, psychic, and stay away from what you see in Hollywood. You know, the woo-woo and the transparent ghost and the scary, scary. That's not what it's like. You know, intuitive hits or intuitive things that you get. It's very subtle, right? It's very, very subtle. So I think that what you should do is first acknowledge you are psychic, right? Which just means from the Greek psychos, which means of the soul, okay? Go to your soul. And as I'm doing with you, now remember, there's something called soul shift. I was taught this in England. Closed circle is you have to be invited to a meditation group for spirit, right? To sit for spirit. And they said, John, raise your consciousness. I didn't know what that meant. I started doing this, and I say it all the time, and it's funny. I started raising myself up.
Right.
They said, no, John. They said, just put your thoughts above you, right? So soul shift is, as I'm looking at you, Gabby, right? Do this with me. Could I take you through a lesson?
Let's do it, babe.
So put your hands right here. See, now, can you see them can you see your hands? Okay, your peripheral vision. All right, you see them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do that. All right, so stay right there. You can see them. So your awareness is where, Gabby? Your hands, your awareness is on your hands, but you're staring straight ahead, right? Just like I am with you. And if you push those away, okay, take those away, stay in that foggy, spacey, daydreamy feeling, right? Okay. And your energy now, it's a whole soul shift where you go up your body and put your energy above your head without rolling your eyes above. So if you look at me, Gabby, right? I'm looking at you, but my energy is here.
Yeah.
That's where I start seeing things, okay? Because a piece of your soul is only here in the body. Right. The rest is out here. Imagine an iceberg. Where's the iceberg? Under the water, right?
Right.
The huge part of it. Flip it upside down. Now it's a triangle. So this is where soul emergence is, soul energy, your loved ones. All the information can be there. So we're taught to bring things down in meditation. Try going up. And if you know the expression, I can't get out of my head.
Yeah.
I can't think up. I even have a coffee cup that says think up.
So everybody, this is what John calls a soul shift. You start with your hands to your side of your periphery.
Yep.
You're looking straight, but you can still visualize your hands.
That's right.
Correct? And then you slowly start to relax your hands out to the side, keeping that soft vision.
Yep. And your awareness is not through the
awareness
eyes.
is now through the eyes. And do you feel almost like
right, the awareness is not. It's almost like when you look at someone who's reading for you, we're not really looking at you. We're really.
Your awareness is now expanded. I just felt that whole thing just happen.
Right.
Okay, that's totally happening for me. Try that out, guys. Let us know in the comments what happens when you do that soul shift.
And that was taught to me by Pete Sanders, he calls it the soul shift, and he gave me permission to call it the soul shift.
The soul
shift. And it was
shift.
the same stuff I was being taught in England, but he put a title to it called the soul shift.
Great. It's all universal wisdom.
Exactly.
The soul shift.
I'm a big advocate of the mechanics of how this works. Anyone that wants to get into this work or mediumship, please study the mechanics of how this works. Your body, meditation, breath, aura, and energy, right? And
okay.
Understand those, right? Get that. And are you a clairsentient? Now let's talk about this for a second.
Explain the clairs.
Clairsentient, to feel. And notice the words that you use sometimes, not just you, everybody. Some people walk into a room and say, I don't like the feel of that couch there.
All the time I can know the feeling.
I don't like the feel of that picture there.
Yeah.
I don't like the feel of this person, right? You're a feeler. That's from the gut, solar plexus. So before you make a decision about a job, interview with somebody, how do I feel about this? Put it in the gut.
Well, we were talking about that yesterday. I said, I don't feel good about something that was figuring out.
And I told you what?
Feel good. Your body doesn't lie. Yeah.
Right. That's feeling.
That feeling.
And develop that. And then there's clairvoyance, which is to see. Some people who are clairvoyant, they walk into a room and say, I don't like the look of the furniture there. Something doesn't look right. They're not even knowing the words that they're saying is a clue. I don't like the look of that person. I don't like the look of this, right? So that's the third eye. So as I'm looking at you, I'm starting to see things. And that's clairvoyance. And it's not going to be like a 3D rift with this, three-dimensional image here. It's very subtle as I'm going through it. That's clairvoyance.
But there is something that happens for me where it's almost like you're going up, right? Where I almost feel like I'm adjusting to the left a bit to start to hear.
That's where and when I say up, don't get confused.
It could be all around.
Here.
Yes, exactly.
I hear spirit on the left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Subjectively in my head. And clairaudience is, have you ever heard your name being called when nobody's there?
Yes.
Do you ever hear that pitch in
ringing
your ear?
all the time?
As long as it's not tendinitis.
Yeah.
Here's something that people don't realize. Have you ever had a song pop into your head out of the blue?
Totally.
Right? And I'm not talking the one you just heard on the radio.
Yeah.
What's the title of the song? What are the words to the song? Someone's trying to get your attention, whether it's your soul, a loved one, a guide. So when a song comes in, you're like, God, I woke up with this stupid song in my head. It won't go away. Someone is knocking on the door.
Remember the story my son told you yesterday?
Yeah.
So yesterday, my son told John a story about how when we were trying to conceive him,
Yeah.
my sign for him was lilies.
Yeah.
And I sat down with my husband at the table, and we were really sad because we tried that month and it didn't work.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, his song on his phone that was locked starts playing a song called "Way Go Lily," and then the album title was "I Saw the Sign." Spirit gives it to you.
Now try talking yourself out of that.
You can't.
No.
There's no talking yourself
People
out
will
of it.
try, though. They will,
They wouldn't be watching if they were trying to talk themselves out of it. They wouldn't be with us right now.
Yep. It's great to know, but how are you going to apply it in your life, okay? So if you're going into a meeting or you're going on the road, just stop and put your awareness on your third eye. See if a symbol comes to you. If you're going into a meeting, whether it's feeling, you want to say, what's the feeling I have about this meeting? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to be careful. Something's telling me to be careful. And if you're clairvoyant, it might show you a sign. Tell me about this meeting. You might see a giant X. You might see the word slow down, patience. Remember, it doesn't have to be an image. It can be a word. And then there's clairaudience. So how do you develop that? That's the throat chakra, right? That's the throat chakra. Clairaudience. The best way to do it is get quiet, put yourself outdoors, near a window, and there's no way around it. Clairaudience is the hardest because is this me? It comes in as my thought, Gabby.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's a guide's voice like, hello, John, it's me. I've been with you 1,000 times. It's in my voice.
Right. And it's like listening to, it's kind of like listening to when you're reading a book, but you're hearing the voice of the author while
Yes.
you're reading.
That's right.
Yes. Not an audio book, but a reading and
Yeah.
you're listening.
Sit outdoors, sit by a window, listen to the sounds, stretch your hearing. There's no way around clairaudience except to listen more, to listen carefully. There's listening and hearing, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So keep listening, right? Stretch your hearing out. I hear the birds in the background. I feel traffic. I hear the train, and then bring it back. I hear people in front of me. I feel the people at the park, back and forth. And you're learning like a frequency to stretch your hearing, That's basically how you do that.
Okay.
And clear cognizance is simply knowing. That's that giant,
Uh-huh.
it's above you. It's just, how do I know that? I
Yeah,
just know it.
I
That's
just
all
know.
three of them.
Now, John, I think that I'm definitely clairsentient and claircognizant.
Yep.
Those two are really strong for me. It's not like we can't have all the clairs, but
Right.
some might be stronger. Is that correct?
Yeah, start with what you have. A lot of people want to be clear. Most of us are good feelers. And all those mean clairsentient means inner feeling. Clairaudience, inner hearing. Clairvoyance, inner seeing. Claircognizant, inner knowing. We all have one strength. A lot of people of clairsentient go with that.
Yeah.
Go with that feeling, because some people like, John, I want to see into the spirit world. I want to be more clairvoyant. It does happen. Just develop this, and they start to work in partnership. What you don't feel, they'll show you something. See, and it's so funny. People want to see clairvoyantly into the spiritual realms or to the other side, but yet they don't even look around their own world first. I say the outside world is a beautiful schoolhouse. When's the last time you looked at the sky, the tree? We're taught not to even look at each other anymore because it's, in the face, because it's like, what are you looking at? So start to look around your own world first, because it's great training. Look at a plant that's alive. Look at one that's is passing. Look at the animals. Use what's around you first, because if you have time to do this, you have time to do this.
Technology is definitely blocking our psychic abilities.
Yeah.
It really is.
It does all the imagination for us. We don't
Also,
have to do
it
anything.
just takes our energy out.
Yeah.
Even just in the moment when you hear that buzz on the phone, your heart rate goes up and you start to distract, and
Yeah.
and so we have to do so much more meditative work these days. That's why I meditate for a full hour every day.
Yeah.
Because it takes a full hour for me to undo the whole morning of being on Zoom
Yeah.
and looking at the screen and using AI to come back into my psychic sense.
Yeah, and cognitive behavior. If my phone's in the kitchen and I hear a buzz, so many people will get up and see who it is. Let it happen.
Yeah.
It's like it gets stronger. I do not need to answer that. It takes practice because we're so programmed with these things.
If you want to develop your psychic abilities, I would highly recommend that you turn off your ringer and leave your phone out of the room for maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. So leave it in the other room, particularly maybe when you're making dinner with your family, or just get rid of it. That would be my recommendation. That's the move.
When I started back in the day before the web, some years ago, they said, the practice was do not watch TV for 3 weeks to 3 months.
Wow.
You could tape your favorite
That was
show.
when you just had television.
Yep. Yep. And to stop that, because TV, just like, social media, it does all our imagination for us. Because when you close down outside visual stimuli like that, right, then the inner part has to start to work.
So if you really want to amp up your psychic abilities, I would say get off social media, get off of anything really that's taking you out from this energy.
Give yourself some time
Or maybe
off.
just even pauses through the day.
Exactly.
Or No Tech Tuesday.
Exactly.
No Tech Tuesday. I'm going to coin that. No Tech Tuesday. Taco No Tech Tuesday. That would be nice.
Do it.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
So before we go to the meditation, I want to just see if we can call in any kind of. I'm just feeling.
Go for it.
The presence of our mentor Louise, and she is here actually often. She's in the room, and Wayne's always in the room, and my guides are in the room, and. What I'm often hearing from the energy above is that they're saying the energy above is nothing I've ever said before, but that's interesting. Is that they're for the collective group. So I believe that there's a collective group of entities specific for this crowd, okay?
Yeah.
For the folks that come to this show. It's almost like the Dear Guides posse. And what they really want for this audience is your openness and your willingness and your practice. That was interesting. I just heard practice, because this is a skill that must be developed, not something that you just, not a switch that you just flip on. Yes, you can turn it on, but you have to practice. And they're showing me you now, John, as the great example of someone who devoted life to practice. Mm-hmm. You went and you studied in England. You showed up early. You didn't miss that class. Right. You were never locked out of the door. And that if this is a desire that you have to develop your psychic abilities, begin the practice. But it's a book, it's however you decide to open up. It's watching this show to learn these skills, to develop your own intuitive sense of knowing. They keep pointing at you as the teacher can teach because he was taught.
Right.
The teacher can teach because he was taught. He can stand in his knowing of his authentic channel and your clear line of communication because you studied, because you were humble.
You have to remember too, everybody wants, it's not instant. I want you to think of the key word. This is like White Eagle taught this too, who was a channel for another medium in England years ago. The word unfoldment. That's important. It's like that lotus that opens up little by little. You can't just say, I'm going to do this in a weekend. It's an unfoldment, everyone. Don't rush it. One time, it's just a quick story. I'm sitting in Circle. And if you know anyone that lived in England, you can only stay there for 6 months. You got to come back to the States and get a visa. So I was in England for 2.5 years. I had to keep coming back, and I was getting tired of it. I just wanted to stay there for a year, okay? So I'm in that circle with those mediums, and I said, can't we hurry this up? Can I just learn this faster? And then I heard this. This is how they came through. This is how guides come through. Your gifts are like a rose unfolding. You cannot force the bloom. Only when you see it, feel it, you will finally know it. And so I did that on my, it's a rose that's opening. Now, those aren't my words. So in other words, it resonated with me. I said, I get it. So they must have heard me, or the universe heard me. You know how the universe got your back?
Yeah.
So I said, a friend of Simon, who lives there, my manager, said, you know what, John? Why don't you fill out a student visa, and you get to stay here for a year as a student? I fill out the visa from U.S. Customs or Immigration in England. I get the letter. Dear John, we cannot give you the visa. We only honor this kind of visa for these certain countries. But yet with the letter that said no was the visa.
Yep.
Fully embossed.
Yep.
And so I'm looking at the letter saying, you can't have it.
And
but
then
here
it's right
it is.
There. Yeah.
And so do you think I called him and said, did you make a mistake?
No.
So I got that wish.
Yeah.
So explain that.
Because spirit's at hand in everything.
That's right.
Spirit's hand is in everything. So John, can you invoke the energies of deceased mentors, loved ones? Like, can you call it in, or do they just have to pop in for you?
I was taught that you can call on the wisdom of people in the past, right?
Yep.
I haven't. For me, I've done readings for so many years, right? So the simple answer is no, I can't call them. I know Louise as a guide, you know what I mean? And that could be inspiration. But I shouldn't say that. Sometimes I'll be inspired to write something that's not me. And
Yeah.
and I don't question. I know it's coming from there. And I
Yeah.
know it's a good source too, though.
But I think that for myself, I feel like I have a practice of actually invoking in the energy of
Sure.
certain spirit.
Yeah.
Particularly Wayne. I will often welcome Wayne Dyer. If you've watched the show, you know that was our mentor and friend, and I'll welcome his energy in before I give a talk.
Yeah.
I remember before I gave a talk for Oprah on Oprah's stage, I never get nervous before a talk, but I was in my ego. It was like Oprah's thing, whatever, and I was nervous, and it was only a handful of us speaking that day, and I was sort of very in my ego, and I was in the hotel room, and I just said, "Wayne, come through," and I just felt my whole body relax. And I started just feeling like this slow-paced energy. Remember how he would speak in such a measured, slow-paced way?
So thoughtful.
And so I know that Wayne's speaking through me when I start to get measured and slow. And I was watching back a talk I gave yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a talk I gave maybe a few weeks ago in LA.
Yeah.
I was watching it back. At one point, I felt like I almost took on his voice.
Yeah.
Like I started to sound like him.
Yep.
The energy just came through.
Yeah.
So I believe that if you have a deceased loved one, friend, mentor, guide, you can call on them in certain situations.
Sure.
Just the same way you'd call on an angel. We learned this from Radley Valentine in our Radley video. You can call on an angel for specific things.
Sure.
You could call on grandma when you need support with your family, or you could call on a deceased mentor when you need support with your work. Or you could call on even just an entity that you didn't know, but like a Jesus energy for being in service. Or
right.
we can bring Gandhi energy. We can bring that energy through by invoking it.
Yeah.
I feel that for myself very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who are listening, obviously, she's not forcing them to come. They come on their own, too.
Correct.
Right, you know?
Yes. You're not forcing the energy. And I think that's actually the
inviting.
big psychic tip for everybody listening is mediumship is about being, you said the tube, being the vessel through which an energy beyond your own comes through. You want to call the shots. What energy am I invoking in? Because you don't want to just welcome all the energy, right? John would be a disaster if he was just walking around letting all the dead people come through him. But you have to call the shots of just a little spark of light right there. And when we say our own prayers, that's why I like to say welcome only the guidance of the highest truth and compassion, being very specific about what you're welcoming in. And then allowing it and being intentional at times. I welcome Wayne's energy, but maybe Wayne's energy Wayne shows right up. When Wayne came to me once and he said, I will come to anyone who speaks for the light.
Right.
So I think he's just really swift, specifically. Not all deceased loved ones are going to walk right in the door. You're not going to be able to be like, hey, I want to talk to my husband right now. He's right there. Though they will show up eventually. They will show up eventually. But in the case of Wayne, it's just like,
think about it. It's Wayne Dyer who studied what Ram does,
right?
And around the world, and his wisdom, he would be. Some people like, can my dad be my guide? Do you want him to be your guide?
Yes,
you know what I mean.
exactly.
What did they have worldly experiences? I want someone that's had a few more incarnations in this life. But I know what you're doing too. It happens naturally for me. I don't put a name to it, but sometimes I'll start doing this, Gabby, on stage.
Yeah.
I don't have a beard.
Right.
So I know this is my
right.
I know this is my Tibetan and someone's like, what's his name? You don't need to name them.
Yeah.
Mine is, I just call him T for teacher, right? I know he's in. I start stroking this here, and I'd be curious if you do that. If when Wayne inspires you, look at some past footage, okay? And you said you felt like you started talk
it
like him.
sounded like him.
Start noticing when people do this, when mediums do this, are they taking on the mannerisms of the loved one they're bringing through, or for Wayne too? Wayne, you know how Wayne the way he walked.
Yeah.
If you come up with a scally cap, then I'm gonna.
I watched it. I was like, that sounds like him. It feels like him.
That's because he's so close to your aura, and I want people to know this is not possession. Wayne is blending with her. Do you understand? Gabby's aura is like this. Wayne has an aura. He's just drawing close. And so sometimes when some people on the other side get too close, I have to say, stand back. I know you passed from that heart attack. Okay, I can feel that. Not in my own body, but on my spirit self. I can feel it. I can tell them to literally stand back. I get it. Slow down your energy.
How do we protect ourselves psychically?
People want to be sensitive. The price of sensitivity is sensitivity. Some people are like, I'm so sensitive, but yet I want to study psychic ability. It's going to make you more sensitive. Know when to close it down. Pull your aura in if you don't want to be so sensitive. You know when you're on a plane or in a big room, you don't want to pick up other people's stuff, just pull your energy in. Just bring it in. So that way you're not a receptor for energy out there. Yeah.
I think this is really important because we do talk here on this show about opening up your psychic abilities. We talk about channeling deceased loved ones. We talk about connecting to higher realms, but you can't just walk around wide open, people.
Right.
If you're walking around wide open, you're going to pick up just the same way if you walk into a crowded room and you're wide open, you're going to pick up all the energy of the people. The same would happen in the spiritual realm. You're not a sponge, you're a channel, but you call the shots. You decide what is it that I'm allowing through? When am I shutting this down? How am I clearing my aura? How am I cleansing my field? What is it that I'm doing to take care of my energy? The same way you would wash your body, you wash your energy field.
Right.
Now, how do you clear your energy after a big talk or working with somebody individually?
I try to go outdoors. Now, luckily where I live in nature, right? So even though I don't have a dog anymore, all my friends do. I will go into the woods, into the park. If any chance, and I'm not far from the beach, any chance you have to walk barefoot, do it.
Okay.
Right? I noticed you were barefoot at the house yesterday, right? Because it grounds you to the earth. So nature is a big one for me.
Great. Love
and people use sage and salt baths. I don't need to do that. It works.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm out in nature and I'm breathing and I'm taking in the green, that's what I do.
Great. Find what works for you. So you'll find that maybe a salt bath is the right thing. Maybe you need to sage yourself. Maybe you do healing work and you need to find another energy healer to help you cleanse your field, which is actually something I'm working with right now.
Right.
Is working with another that can actually clear your field for you. You may, like John, get your feet into the earth. Maybe you just want to have a cup of tea and some root vegetables. Do something to get yourself back into your body and ground yourself. I can't give you these tools for waking up psychically and then send you off and let you all run around wide open. That's not safe. That's not what we want to be doing. But like John said, you can close your aura.
Yeah, just bring it in. And just
Shrink your
imagine
aura.
you don't have to do anything. Just your aura knows your aura follows your thought. Whatever you want to do. If you want to, when I go to a concert or one of your lectures or anyone, I will open up because it's not even effort. It's just open. You want to take in the music. You want to take in the crowd. You want to take in the excitement. When you don't want that, just imagine it's closing.
Yeah.
Right. And there's three types of psychics. One, the person unknowing, meaning they have no idea about psychic ability. They don't know what an aura, chakra, energy. It's fine, but they're affected by they're picking up other people's energy. They're getting emotional when 1 minute they were just fine. Now they're getting emotional. They don't know it that they're even intuitive, which we all are. The second one is they studied about energy. They kind of know about chakras, but they're not putting it into practice. The third is the person that knows about energy centers, aura, meditation, breath, chakra, meditation, aura, breath. They practice it. They become the master of their abilities. It does not become the master of them.
Yes. Okay. Beautiful.
Snap.
Snap. So what is the 4-step process for tuning into your mediumship?
Okay. So first of all, a lot of people have a lot of things going in their lives, right? If they're emotional, going through some psychological stuff, put it aside. Okay. But when I do my work, I do a prayer. Okay. I was raised Catholic. And I'll say the Our Father, and that's my clue. That's my turn-on switch.
Yes.
What is your turn-on switch, Gabby?
Like I did earlier, I welcome the guidance of the highest truth and
that's
compassion.
my light switch.
My prayer.
That's
yes.
where I put everything aside, and I tell them on the other side, I'm ready.
So you do your prayer, you invoke that energy.
Right. Yep. And then I will just open up. I don't have to go through the whole process of the energy centers because it happens naturally to me. I make sure I'm just open up. Everything is clear. And then, this is even before the client comes in, and then I expand my aura. Right? And that's when I invite them in, right? Because now I'm open. And that's when I start to hear, feel, and see. Sometimes even before their loved ones shows up even before the client comes, right? So that's the process. But I get quiet, I do slow breathing, I open up, and then it starts to happen. I go to that place, and it's not like you take a weekend workshop to do this. It's learning what spirit feels like to get close to you. What's their personality? Is it a man or a woman? Are they young or old? Tell me about their memories. That's what makes a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we also have different ways that we receive.
Sure.
I think that when I share with people I'm a medium, which we all are.
Right.
But if I say I have mediumship and I'm expanding my capacity, people will come up to me like, well, what does my grandmother want me to know? I'm like, that's not the info I get.
Right.
I don't get that. I'm not gonna, maybe once in a while if I'm with a loved one that I care about, and like my friend Bobby, his mom Joy comes to me all the time just because she's kind of reminds me of my mom, and so I can recognize her. And sometimes I'll recognize people as deceased, but not really. Like I'm just listening to this high purpose.
Yeah.
If you want to ask me about your career projections, I will give you the exact message you need to hear. If you want me to help you elevate your consciousness, I will give you the exact message you want to hear. But if you want to hear from your grandmother, you got to call John. You got to call John. That's not for me.
I think
We're
we
gonna
all have the
different ways.
potential for it. Some are born with the higher potential, and some just need to work at it. But the potential has always been there.
Yeah, and it's like maybe you were born and you just happen to naturally be a really great athlete, like my son.
That's right.
My son's just an extraordinary athlete. Okay, it's the same as you being an
He's
extraordinary
7 years
medium.
old and he's golfing.
Golfing, squash.
It kills
the
me.
kid is so talented at every sport. You give him a ball. And then that's the same for you. It's like you sat down and you could channel, and it was there for you as a child.
Yeah.
And so we just may or may not have skills in different areas. It's not one or the other, but you all are mediums and you all have the capacity, but remembering you can hear differently and in unique ways. John's going to lead us through a meditation now called Raising the Power. And this is a practice for opening up your own psychic abilities. I'm going to do it with you, and I will report back on what I receive.
First of all, breathe. Just take a nice breath in to 4. Hold for 4. Slow out for 6. Relax your body. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. Just relax. Just relax. Every time I speak, you just relax more and more. Now, I want you to imagine below you is a sea of light. Almost like when you see the sun sparkling on the ocean waves. Light, twinkling, however you see that, however you imagine, just below you like a giant pool. Now, I want you to bring that energy up to your base chakra, which is just at the base of your spine. Its color is red. Just bring the energy up there. Your breath brings up the energy from that sea of light. Beautiful. Okay, back to the sea of light. Bring up another ball of light up through the base and up to your solar plexus, your sacral, just below the navel. Its color is orange. Bring it up to the navel, just below the navel, the sacral, orange, creativity. Beautiful. Once again, the sea of light up to the red, up to the orange, and up to your solar plexus. Clairsentience, emotions, feelings like a giant sun right in your stomach area. Bring in that light, healing, clearing. Back to the sea of light, up to the red, the base, orange, solar plexus and heart. Bring it up to the heart, that beautiful light. Breathe in, breathe. This is the heart center. Every joy, sorrow, feelings are etched upon this heart center. Bring it up, it's okay. And if you find yourself weeping, it's okay. It's clearing, healing those past hurts. Beautiful. To the sea of light, up to the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, up to the throat center, sky blue. Wisdom, speaking your truth. Clear audience, see it like a giant sky, blue sky opening. Clearing, beautiful, almost there. Nice and easy, your breath can help you to the sea of light, up to the red, to the orange, to the yellow, to the green, to the throat, to the third eye. Clairvoyance, opening. See it like a giant lotus opening. Its color is indigo. Beautiful. One last time. To the beautiful sea of light below you. Bring it up to the red. To the orange sacral. Solar plexus, clear sentience, heart. Throat, clear audience. Third eye, and just above your head. The crown chakra, violet, opening up to the universe, opening up to your soul, opening up to your soul essence. Let your energy go above you. Don't roll your eyes. Beautiful. Just be there for a moment. And the energy from above flows through you, downward, merging with the light from below you, that sea of light, up and down your spine. Beautiful. Beautiful. Clearing you, healing, expanding your aura. It's okay, you're safe. You're open. Love. Feel that. Remember that. Beautiful. This is what it is to be intuitive. This is to be open. This is where you can have your answers, loved ones, psychic information. You are the equipment. You are the vessel. You are in control. Now, ever so slightly, just pull your energy back, pulling it in slowly. No need to rush. You can go here anytime you want. Now just take your awareness to your third eye. Just close it a little, like a flower. You're never really closing it. You're taking your awareness away from it, down to the throat. Just see that color blue getting softer. Down to the heart. That beautiful green to the solar plexus, bringing in the energy, bringing back the light. That giant sun is now just getting smaller. To the sacral, orange. We're going to keep the base chakra open and the crown so energy can come through you. So clear energy, vitality can come through you to keep you going through your day. And just breathe. This is called raising the power.
It opened me up and then it grounded me in it.
Yes.
That was really nice, John. Well, thank you.
Raising the power.
Raise the power, friends. John, I love you.
I love you.
You guys know when my good friends join, it's like fire in the house. There's so much fun. It's so energized. And I have always looked up to you as a mentor and as a medium mentor and just a guide. And you've been a dear friend to me.
Same.
And I'm so grateful to be able to bring my beloved mentors and friends to this show. And remember, guys, this is about being responsible with your energy and responsible with your psychic capacity. We aren't really guiding you and training you to go walk up to people and be like, your grandmother wants you to know this. Like boundaries, boundaries,
That's
boundaries,
right.
boundaries, boundaries.
Never.
This is about you really opening up for yourself and developing that connection for yourself so that you can really start to expand your auric field, be a messenger for the light, be a presence in the world that is not just stuck in a phone, but also opened up to all the awareness that's within you and around you, and really opening your heart to being of service in these ways. So just be mindful, conscious, and connected. If you're still watching to the end right now, you are definitely with us, meant to be here, part of the community. I'm proud of you. As you know, I'm so proud of you. We've got John's book, Bridging Two Realms. He has several books, but this one, Bridging Two Realms, is a great one. We're going to link to it below the video. And in that book, John goes much deeper into everything that we talked about today in this episode. And I've linked it in the description and below the video. I love to give you guys free guidance. So this is your meditation to connect to your spirit guides, and it's waiting for you right now. It's in the description, but it's also at deargabby.com/spirit guides. Dear Guides Live happening on November 21st in New York City. There's very limited seats, so you can get the link in the description or right above in the cards. And this is where we're going to actually bring together this community that we have here live on stage. And it's going to be many, many events. And starting small, and then we're going big, 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 big. So November 21st, get the details. Dear Guides Live, join us. So if you've made it to this point in the video, there's something in you that's waking up and you're hearing the call. It's not an accident. It's your soul calling you to wake up at this time, to listen to your higher consciousness, to define a new way of being. In the shaky times that we're in, we must have unshakable faith. And so I welcome you to never miss one of these episodes, to stay connected and part of this community. Subscribe to the channel. Every single week, you're going to get new videos. We're also going to start putting meditations out on this channel. So definitely subscribe so you do not miss anything. And I'm so grateful for you for being with us here. Stick around for the miracles. If you liked this video, you're going to love my video with Marianne DeMarco on how our loved ones contact us after death. Check it out.